Oh, okay. This is it. I got to start off by complaining. Obviously, this is the great Mark Putnam thing. Patriot Training Systems can train anybody, any universe,
Yeah.
any parallel universe. Imagine there's millions of Mark Putnam things out there in these parallel universes. But I do need to complain. I like when I get on the screen first, and then I send the invitation to Mark. So I'm sitting there looking at myself, and I'm thinking, geez, Tommy looking good today. Then Mark gets on, and I go like, God, I feel like
Because I
I'm
didn't
not
shave.
worried.
I didn't shave. I look rugged.
You're are you talking about like man shaving or like man shaving?
I hate shaving.
Yeah, me. Oh, me too. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I get a little electric trimmer. I just trim it off, so you still get the scruff going there. Now, do you do the manscape and everything? Like, where you trim around the?
I mean, no.
Not the back. You get hair. You don't have the hairy. You don't have the hairy back, do you?
No. No, I'm not an overly hairy person.
Not hairy.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't have to trim the armpits and like that. It's all.
No. There's no braiding going on. There's no. Yeah.
Like and wow, hold on. The great Barry Shelley. How's Barry? Like he had little health issues, right? Our boy Barry.
Yeah, he's hanging. He's a warrior, man. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. So now I'm getting personal here, and I'm pulling Beth into this, but I think we're all friends here now, so we can all. Yeah. And this doesn't, this just goes to several people around the universe,
right?
So if she said, Mark, can you trim your back hair or something like that? Would she say that to you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would she just do it herself, or would she expect you to?
No. She would have absolutely no part in it, but she would let me know. It's tough.
Okay. See, I like that. How about like getting nose hairs or anything like that? Like, have you ever had like a?
That yeah, I mean, you just keep it within reason because you need them there. It's healthy for you because it's your filter.
But let's say you got lazy one day. And you didn't look in the mirror and you had a couple of hairs hanging out. Would she just grab and yank them out, or would she say
no? She would say, "Go upstairs and take care of that."
And I guess you've got the relationship now where you're close enough that she doesn't have to sugarcoat it or anything like that. Like,
there's absolutely no sugarcoating in this house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. Good.
I'm actually looking for Elon Musk to come in here and do an audit.
What? How many children he's got? Oh,
hey, you know what? I don't think those kids are gonna have to worry.
You know what's funny? Like they want to make a big deal about it. Like, is he someone that I would look to on a personal level to say, okay, Tom, yeah, I don't really care about what he does on a personal level. I care about him saving money for the government, right? So,
he's obviously a little bit on a spectrum because he's so incredibly bright, and those people in general have a different outlook. I'll just put it that way. Yeah.
Now, the one text that he had exchanged with supposedly the most recent mother of his children, he actually said to her, "I want to inseminate you again," or something like that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, did you see the governor of Wisconsin? They're no longer calling women, or no, they're not. They're not using the word mother. It's inseminated person.
Yeah. Yes.
So if you have someone who's inseminated, means you need an inseminator, right?
Right.
So that could be like a new Schwarzenegger film, the inseminator.
Inseminator. So Musk is the inseminator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elon, the inseminator. He should
have like a big eye here, like a cape and everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Get the leather jacket on, the sunglasses.
Yeah, cigarette dangling from his mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
He's already got the chainsaw and everything and the sunglasses. Like he did those big.
He's taking some heat for that by the media. Yeah, chainsaw. Well, who's the other guy, man? That guy should use God bless him. He's got a lot of hair, but that guy could use a little trim. That guy from what's his name? May Lu or whatever, the one from Argentina.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That gave him the chainsaw. He should use that himself like a Flowbee haircut.
And here's a good question. How much do you think Elon cares about what the media says about the chainsaw?
Zero.
Wouldn't you love, in that regard alone, wouldn't you love being Elon Musk? Like you would just go.
What? Other than your health, what do you have to worry about? You got $400 billion.
Right. Yeah. Who cares?
And so find your wallet.
So he's going to give you a hard time about the chainsaw. Like, oh God, that's funny. Like I think that's just hilarious that you're at that point where you're doing all this stuff for the government, and you walk out on stage with a chainsaw and these square sunglasses.
It's refreshing. I have to say.
Oh yeah,
it's got and the thing is, like, get over it, man. It's symbolism. Like we're cutting. Yeah. The fact that people want to defend wasting taxpayer dollars,
I know.
That's to me not an argument that we should have. We should want-
Okay, so
Sure.
hold on. We do need to say happy birthday to the great Jeff Brubaker, as per Barry Shelley. I did
There
see
you
that.
go.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
yeah, magical Lorraine.
Mhm.
How are you doing? What was I going to touch on there? So Elon made suggestions or orders, or whatever you want to call it, that people now need to report in on what they're doing.
Well, and this is a word we use a lot in the hockey world. It's called accountability.
Yeah,
Accountability. And apparently, they've realized that there's a lot of people grabbing checks that do really nothing. And you'd be surprised with the percentage of government workers compared to private sectors is in this country.
Yeah. And then wasn't Tulsi Gabbard saying, okay, people, you just ignore that? Was that what was going on? Didn't some of the people that were appointed by Trump as well say, listen, just ignore that email? Did I see that?
I don't know. I don't think it would be anybody in his administration that would say that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
I did see something, though, where somebody said that, and I think it was actually a bureaucratic people in the agencies are saying that, not anybody in the executive branch or administration.
Now, one meeting I am very disappointed I missed, the meeting of the governors.
Oh, God.
With the governor of Maine. I give her credit. I give her credit, though. She didn't back down.
But see, here's the thing, though. This is like why the Democrats are just losing so much traction. Pick fights that are defendable. Like, don't fight against stopping wasting money. It's not a winnable.
Yeah, but okay. So here's the deal, though. Just like our governor here, Hochul in New York is doing. I should say here, we're in Connecticut. You're in New Jersey. They want this for sound bites, right? They're going to be up for re-election.
Yeah.
So they want to be able to show that they're standing up to the evil monster.
It's all a show. And I get that. But like to say I really think anatomically biological males should compete in high school athletics, in the girls. I mean, it's just, you really want to defend that? I just don't get it.
But again, it's politics, it's votes.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that really feel that way, but I mean, ask the kid who had her face smashed playing volleyball, got spiked, and ask her how she feels about it.
So we'll get to the Rangers and everything too. They had a fun charity game yesterday in Los Angeles for money for the wildfires. You see that?
No.
Yeah. Oh, they had a bunch of celebrities like
cool.
Justin Bieber, Jeremy Roenick, a whole bunch of hockey players, all played a charity game at the Crypto Arena where the Kings play. Mm-hmm. And they raised money. Snoop Dogg, a whole list of stars. Snoop Dogg was there. Yeah,
really, very cool.
Al Michaels.
Was it on television?
It was on ESPN2, I think it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was on like at 6:00 at night here.
Oh, YouTube it. What did they call it?
The hockey game.
That's interesting. Where'd they come up with that?
I just whoever thought of that, man, they were thinking.
Really.
You know what? I don't. I think it's LA Strong kind of thing.
I'll Google it. I'll find
it. All right, so let's get to our New York Rangers. They come back now. Granted, I thought it was interesting. So the obviously a lot of hockey on this weekend. One of the teams that's really doing well, it was on 2 games this weekend, was the Washington Capitals. Mm-hmm. Now, interesting. Now, again, because there was no Russians participating in the Four Nations, they would have had Ovechkin, obviously. Right. They had no players on that Four Nations. Yeah. And they've got the best record in the league right now. Yeah. Interesting.
Rangers had, I think, Nika. Six? Yeah. Kappa. No. Kappa.
Yeah.
Would have been more if Kappa was still here.
Yeah. So now they have become, I tell you, my old teammate, Brian McClellan, the GM there, whether he was lucky or not, but I tell you, he hit on everything this year, this summer, signing free agents.
Yeah, they really did a great job.
Pierre-Luc Dubois, I think, who most people would never have touched. Mm-hmm. He brought him in, and he's really, I think what he's done is he's built a really strong locker room so you can bring in a guy like Dubois.
There it is. Yeah. There it is. Here's your answer right there.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Now, 2 guys. Okay, again, we'll get to the Rangers here. Sorry. But there's a Meja Stavros.
There it is.
Greek, yes.
Good morning.
So 2 guys who the Ranger fans in particular probably have hated over the years that are turned into, I think, pretty likable stories right now are Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby. Yeah.
You can't argue with who they are.
Yeah. And they both matured so much too. Like the the Ovechkin story is he's playing at home. His kid's down by the glass. He scores a goal. He gives him the high five. The whole thing. Crosby's like turned into the ultimate leader now on that team. So, and especially on a team that's not very good right now either.
Yeah, Malkin, I thought played well. So.
Malcolm really played hard yesterday, right? Yeah. I know. Okay, so here's a pretty example of. So the Rangers view 87, which is Crosby, as a diver. That's what he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he is that now. I don't.
I think he's evolved from that point.
Yeah. And he deserved that. Like he was a whiner and everything before, but he's not now. He's. Okay, you go into Buffalo. Buffalo, one of the teams with the worst record in the league. Now, my boy Shesterkin, who I think is fantastic, did not play well at all against Buffalo.
And I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, you can. You know what? You can ask me a question if you want.
Okay. What's the name of that game that they played in LA? What was it?
Hockey game?
Yeah.
We get the thumbs up. Thumbs up.
I read that Shesterkin didn't come out to talk to the media after the game in Buffalo, and that's not a good indicator.
No, that's bad. I would say this. I'm trying to picture it. He wants to do so well. He was awful. He knows he was awful. Yeah. And he probably would say, listen, I should have come out. I just, Yeah. Now, I do give him credit. Comes back the next day. And whew, man, the shots were like in the second period after it was like 30-6 or something like that. That was a bad day. But they won the game.
The penalty on Rempe?
I'm glad it was only two minutes for interference. Like they didn't get carried away with it. Because he really looked like he controlled himself. He wasn't jumping up or elbows or anything. So, yeah.
You see what Detroit last night? I guess it played who did it play?
Yeah, Anaheim.
Yeah. And Trouba took somebody out in the corner. It was pretty tough. Oh. And then Zegras actually left his feet to help to like kind of give it to a guy's head. I forget who it was, a Swedish kid or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Zegras did? Ooh.
Yeah, I know. You better not be doing that too much.
Nah. Yeah, it's a bad sign. That's the part of the game. So people who don't know, Trevor Zegras is a really talented guy, but not tough and physical at all. And that's the kind of stuff that older guys like you and I, when we watch games, we look and go, you just don't do that. Yeah.
There was another kid that came down on an offside. I forget who it was. And just so like he was, the duck was maybe, I don't know, 8 feet away from the Red Wing. He just drilled him right in the pills with the puck.
Oh.
After the whistle. Yeah. Now that I don't mind.
Bothers me, Igor and our team, barely speaking, they still opposed to Scandinavian players. So he's opposed to Scandinavian players. I'd like to know how old you are there, but that's nothing. I can see old school people are like that. I after playing with some Scandinavian players, I'll tell you, fantastic teammates. Mm-hmm. The Swedes, the Finns, the whole English thing for Igor and any Russian players. I mean, I guess I imagine, like, if I was to go over to Russia to play, would I automatically feel compelled to learn Russian? To speak?
Pretty tough language.
Yeah. I have a hard
English is as well. You know what it is? I think we have to remember they grew up in Russia.
Yeah.
So they didn't grow up here. So they have a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scandinavian players, man.
Oh.
I got to be pretty good friends with Andreas Johansson from Sweden. Great guy. Funny guy. Just a real good dude. Yeah. Good people.
Jan Eriksson, Thomas Sandstrom, Rare Roots, Elaine, and all those guys I played with. Just and we were hard on them too, going in the early 80s and everything. And we didn't give them a free pass. They had to come in and earn it, and they really did. They were great. Like and beyond just like they were like North American players. They were no different than we were at all. In fact, in some ways, like I think of Jan Eriksson, man, he was that guy that just showed up. Oh, every game, didn't care if he got credit. Great guy. Like when he's one of those guys when he did well, like everybody in the team was so excited because he did well.
Yeah. Because you pull for a guy like that.
Yeah. It was cool. All right. The great Susan Brooks. What do we call her? Miss America?
No, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. I forgot. That's how bad my mind's gone. Crosby's greatness has never been appreciated. It's his crying, not getting a penalty call or skating away from a scrum. And again, I get that too. And again, I think he's changed that really. Like I don't see him.
His skill level is just he's ridiculous.
Yeah. And how he works at the game too. Like his history is if he didn't do well enough in faceoffs, let's say he'd go home during the summer and work on his faceoffs.
And that's it. Yeah. Well, that's what I always tell kids. Like, when my oldest son played hockey in high school, but we had a kid on the team, AAA player, a really talented guy, right? And I would tell the rest of the team, listen, it doesn't come without work. I mean, every time I go to pick him up when they're little to bring him to a skate, he'd be outside with a stick and a ball, and you know what I mean. It just never stopped, and you got to work at it. And it was Crosby. I remember the famous video or pictures or whatever his mother's washer and dryer.
Yeah,
I guess was
yeah. That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So, what else here? Susan saw top of things for us here. Wonder Woman. They speak English, and Igor always speaks reports. Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think Igor is not quite as good as maybe Panarin in the English, but yeah. So the other day of not like a Saturday not coming out, I think that was wrong, but you kind of understand it. It's not like a regular thing.
Yeah, no, I know the history for sure.
Yeah. What happened here to the great Barry Shelley? Lou Vera and Paul Stewart spent a lot of time in Russia, but they could give a few names for their favorite watering holes. Yes.
Yeah, I was over. Actually, I was there in St. Pete's with Lou in 2012, and they put us up. We did a thing for Russian Hockey Federation. They put us up in it was like a 5-star hotel. It was really cool. And yeah, Lou enjoyed himself.
I tell you, talk about a patriot. Like he should be on Trump's team. Yeah, he is patriot. He for years, I think I've told this. So how I know him, Walt Kylan, John Kyle, Walt, who was assistant coach for the Rangers for a number of years. We played together in college. They had played junior hockey in Waterloo, Iowa, and so Lou Vero was coaching in Waterloo, so that they became very close. So when they came to Northern, Lou would come in to Marquette, Michigan, where we were, and we'd all get together. So I got to know Lou pretty well. And for years, he would say to me, not in like a preaching or demanding or rude way, just more like explaining to me why he felt it was so important that I became a U.S. citizen. I'd played college hockey in the U.S., played pro in the U.S. My boys they're born in the U.S. And then once 9/11 happened, his voice was the first voice that I heard.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because he was great. And it was a constant thing. But like I said, never annoying or something like that. It was more like, I think, trying to help me that I would.
He's coaching.
He was. Yeah, he was good. So everybody had met him like he's got to be in his 80s now, right?
Well, that was 2012. He was pretty old then. So I would think so.
Right. So people who don't know, Lou also works with USA Hockey currently. I think at this point, and this is not disparaging when I say this, he's more, I don't know if he has a specific role, but they just
ambassador kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he was part of the 80 team, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Very close to Herb Brooks and everything too. Yeah. Very funny guy. Yeah, he's cool. Actually, I talked to Walt Kyle at your behest. Is that how way I said it? Behest?
It's a great word. Yeah.
What does that mean? Your suggestion?
Because it's something I requested.
Oh, my behest. Wow, that's I sounded good. I sounded good there, right? Like intelligent.
Yeah, I would just let it go, man. Flow with it.
There's the one. Who's the one guy?
You're in the zone. Stay in the zone.
I know exactly. See how I strayed away from it right away. Yeah. I couldn't stay in it. Who's the one guy on Trump's team? Bald-headed guy.
Stephen Miller.
Oh, he speaks. It's like I don't know how you can even counter what he's.
He's got a little bit of that twitch too. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
He's got the twitch, the Eddie Johnson.
And he doesn't back down too. Like I saw him on with Jake Tapper, and Tapper tried to get him off to. So no, I'll educate you here. Like he did. I don't know if he word to educate, but
he's pretty tough to. You're not going to win too many arguments with him.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Can you imagine getting into a debate with him? Oh, that's funny. Funny stuff. There's some funny stuff like Trump's team that he's put together, like Miller, like Kristen, the press secretary.
No, Kristen, yeah.
Right. And who's the one that does the press conferences? Christine, or is it another Kristen?
The last name is Levitt.
Christine Levitt. Kristen Levitt.
Carolyn.
Is it? What it is?
Yeah, something like that.
She's good too.
She's awesome. I mean, they do the homework. They come prepared. They're not sitting there flipping a page. They just ad hominem can just go.
Yeah. Who we got here? Who we got? He had just open heart surgery a while back, but back in the men. See, between our girl Wonder Woman
and Barry, we got it.
I know. Is there anything like we don't need
it's
to
almost, they're like we don't need AI.
Yeah, that's right.
Or a quantum computer.
Right. So we got Wonder Woman for Susan. What can we call Barry? Like he's the
Barry. I mean, everybody knows. Yeah, you say Barry Shelley, everybody knows who it is.
Right. BS. BS. No. People think if it comes to us, we can't overthink this, right?
Yeah.
Like the Wonder Woman thing with Susan just kind of came to us like
quickly. Yeah.
Organically.
Yeah. We would have thought so.
You notice that was the big word that the Kachucks, they keep talking about organically. Do you think they really, I'm not trying to pick on them. Do you think they really knew what organic meant?
Yeah, I think so. You know, you would hope. I think so. Yeah.
Because like it was just years ago, like people were saying organic, and I go, "What the heck is organic?"
Yeah, I think people now are more in tune with you know. When we grew up, we never heard that word.
So yeah, so organic means that it's done naturally.
Naturally, right? Yeah, just occurred. Yeah.
So instead of saying just naturally, it just happened naturally. You have
just
to say
a different way of saying naturally. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I've always those kind of people. I guess the positive way is we have to give them credit that they're using the entire language. The negative way you'd look like, okay, just say the other word. But right.
Well, I guess that's the first word that came to his head.
Right. There is. I do like it. Larry Brooks does this sometimes. And Susan, we have a ton of respect for your brother. You know that. But he'll use some words sometimes in the article, and I'll have to stop and look it up first.
But that's how you learn, man. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Beth came home Saturday night.
That's right. You were lonely all by yourself.
Just
the wedding.
What's that? I went to the wedding Friday. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. And where was Beth again? Where was she?
Palm Springs.
With a bunch of girlfriends or?
From college. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so was there something special going on in Palm Springs? Or?
Yeah, they get together twice a year, probably. We used to always go. So they went to Notre Dame. So we were supposed to go this year, but something came up. We usually meet for a football game and then another time somewhere else. Yeah.
And do you think they'll sit around like and talk about their?
100%.
Oh, so what do you think Beth would say about you?
It's not so much what Beth would say; it's what her friends would say because they've seen me in action.
Oh, okay. Oh, so how is that idiot doing? Or
exactly?
Oh,
yep. They know my game.
You're unique. Like so, the rest of the husbands.
That's a nice way to say it. Unique.
So the rest of the husbands would not be like you are. Right.
Pardon?
The rest of the husbands in the crew, would not be like you are. They would.
There's not many people that are. And I would be really concerned if they were. Yeah.
Right. That's true. Wonder Woman says here. Let me see here. Have you watched the TV show Extracted? Would be interested to see. Is that the one with a lot of the movie stars and guys in, like celebrity?
There's a few of them. There's also, I think it's Alone. It's on Netflix. That's pretty. That's give you one match and like a toothpick.
I think I told you I was at a skate with the Rangers at Madison Square Garden, obviously, and two guys who were writers, I think, for Alone were there. And so we got shot and they knew I was on Survivor, and they said, "Would you rather go on Alone?" I said, "Absolutely." Yeah, I've never heard back from them though. So
because I mean, those people are usually like that's the way they live anyway.
Yeah,
it's not a big. It's just another weekend for them.
Yeah, like they're dropping them in there, knowing that these people can take care of.
They're equipped. They know what to do. They know how to trap and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you and I'd be walking through the woods. We got to find a deli.
I'll tell you though, what I did learn from Survivor, and I know you know this already. So we went like we couldn't get our fire started. So we went for the first 3 days. Well, we had coconut, but basically and that's a diuretic, so it's really not doing a whole lot for you. But we went for 3 days, which wasn't that long, without any food. So I came to realize the food, although you need it at some point, the water was the important thing, right? I
think it's 48 hours without water. It's not cool. You can go 30 days without food, they say.
Yeah. Really. I'm glad I bulked up a little bit too. So I lost 27 pounds out there, which was
That's smart, going with some stored fuel. Yeah.
What we got here, Tracy? Okay, so this is a whole topic. Maybe a whole show could be devoted to this subject.
I think we need to really address this.
Right. She did post some pictures. I did see she's in Aruba or something.
Yeah, she was one of the islands. Looked good time.
And again, it's almost like one of those things. Like she wants to show us enough that we're in Turks and Caicos, but not like that she even cares that we know. Like it's like a tease a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely directed towards you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. See, thank you for putting that in perspective. So it's basically saying, okay, Tom, I'm going to show you that I have a life outside
other than worshiping Tom Laidlaw.
Right.
Yeah. Which is hard to do. You got to admit, man.
Oh God. Let me see here. I'm waiting on the Epstein list. Yes.
Oh man, that's going to be. And did you see they named Dan Bongino undersecretary or
I
not
saw that.
undersecretary?
Yeah.
To the FBI or director,
Right.
whatever it is,
Yeah,
assistant
we
director.
can't complain about him picking like a diverse. So Kash Patel, he's Indian, correct?
Correct. Yeah, but you notice is no one's saying that.
Yeah.
Because it's not the right party.
I know. Yeah.
How about the Philadelphia Eagles? You hear
what's
what
that?
the Eagles, Philadelphia Eagles?
Idiots.
I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just stupid. Put it aside for 10 minutes, guys.
Who was
I hope you never win again. Actually, now.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
you may
so,
not.
yeah, it's so disrespectful. And I can't believe that you listen. I guess everybody does their own thing. You've got the right to do whatever you want to do. Who's the goalie for Boston when they won that wouldn't go to the White House?
Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas. And that was when Obama was in?
No.
I think it was.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Huh. What we got here? Nope, they're regular people who are left alone on an island, and it's up to the families, whatever. To
oh, Jesus.
Extraction. Oh, yeah. Yes. So that's Extraction.
They've been out there.
Yeah. And I think like it's funny because they show highlights. Wild. They show highlights where the one person will say, "Listen, do not push that button." Like the guy that's going out there, no matter what you hear. But yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the study. There's a really famous study. What they did was, they had like a wall, and the guy that sat on the side of the wall had like a dial, and he was told on the other side of the wall is somebody hooked up, and the more you increase it, the more pain they feel.
Oh.
And they came to find that they crank it up as high as they could, and it was really surprising because they thought that once they heard people screaming, they would back it off.
Right.
But they're being told no for the whatever, keep going. So it's kind of like this: you wait to see.
Yeah.
To your
what's the breaking point?
Yeah, what's the breaking point? Then you hit the button.
Yeah. They're getting sicker and sicker all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like who can inflict the most pain?
You better have a good relationship with your family before you go on that show.
Yeah. What it's like after, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. The Extraction. That's a good show, Susan. Wonder Woman.
I like that. Yeah.
That.
Susan, what time, what channel? I'll have to make sure I watch.
Yeah, I think it may be on CBS or something. But yeah. Huh. They're probably going to cancel Survivor soon after having me on.
How long has it been on? Like quite a while, right?
Over 20 years. Season 48. There's 2 a year, and season 48. So yeah.
And that's that guy Mark Burnett, right?
He heads it up. Yeah, he's the
Canadian or
he's British.
Australian,
I think
or something.
Yeah, British or Australian or something. Yeah. And Mark Gardner. What's the guy's? What's the guy that? Who's the host?
The host. I forget. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awful. I was on the show. How can I?
It'll come to me, but
yeah.
But so I think that was the first show, like, because he did Big Brother too, didn't he? Or whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, he started that whole kind of thing.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, he was one of the first. Yeah. Jeff Probst. Thanks, Deb. You magical creature. Yeah. The magical Deb. Yep. Miners, Hagen, Anderson.
We should make an app out of all these our friends here who know so much that we could carry. Like when we're stumped somewhere out in the wilderness or shopping or whatever, we can ping it and we'll get the answer right away.
Well, think about that as an app for everybody to have. Like that people would pay for that, right? So the information app.
Yeah. On any subject.
Screw the. Let me see here. Screw the NFL. That country has one anthem. The NFL has discussed.
You know what?
The
Four Nations thing, and of course, it's because of Trump. It got really jacked up, but it dominated the news for like a week.
Who's that again?
The Four Nations.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Like you didn't hear. Apparently, the NBA All-Star game. Not that I don't really watch that much basketball anymore, but it was last weekend. I didn't even know.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But okay, so I'm glad we're touching on this. Here's what I was thinking. Everybody's saying how much it's going to help grow the game.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my count, and I hope it does. But my counter to that is that the casual fan or the fringe fan that was watching, especially the first U.S.-Canada game, is going, wow, I can't wait to watch the NHL now. Now you watch, and unfortunately, you watch the Rangers and Buffalo play, and you're going like, okay, what happened to?
What happened? Where's the fight? Where's the intensity?
Yeah,
I agree. So. And then also, if you're shot, like it's really you go to buy your kid a stick and it's $400. You're
Oh, I know.
like you're playing soccer. That's a problem, man.
Oh, it is.
We're gonna miss a lot of great hockey players that just can't afford it.
Yeah, the Rangers do a great job. They've got that learn to play program, I think, it
Yeah.
is, where I think for like $300, they get the kids the equipment through Pure Hockey.
Yeah.
And then I think the NHL is involved in that as well. And then they
It's a USA Hockey NHL.
Yeah.
Because they do it here too.
and then they get 10 sessions on there. So that's a great way to get started to see.
Yeah.
But you're right though, even after that, once they really get into it, it's a financial commitment.
Yeah. Well, and that's just beginning. You find out tuition,
travel,
all these tournaments and
yeah.
skates. I mean, I haven't bought skates in a bit, but what are they like?
Say tournament again.
Pardon?
Say tournament again, please.
Tournament.
So I say tournament. You say
How do you
tournament.
say tourniquet?
Tourniquet.
Yeah.
So I say tournament, and you say tournament.
Yeah.
It's tourniquet or
Yeah.
tourniquet.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
It's I don't know if that's a Jersey thing or an American thing or
I think it's a little bit more Jersey
just
than
me.
Canada.
yeah, it's probably more. Like how do you say coffee?
Coffee.
That's coffee.
Yeah. How do you say it?
Coughing.
Oh, coughing. Coughing.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Same thing. Same coffee.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Hello, Mark. Sabres
Wait,
Warriors
how do you say organization?
organization.
Yeah, well, that's because you've been here for a while.
And then how do you say? So I say Toronto,
Mhm.
but Canadians, like people from Toronto, say Toronto. Like they don't pronounce the second T as much. It's like Toronto.
Yeah, well, and you know, same thing here in Jersey, New York. Instead of saying, let me see if you can decipher this. Jeet,
Jeet.
Jeet,
G.
no, Jeet.
Jeet. What's that?
Did you eat?
Did you?
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's hey, did you guys Jeet yet?
Jeet. Yeah. Okay. Jeet.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys Jeet yet? Yeah, it's
Okay.
did you?
Here's another thing too. People are texting me.
Yeah.
And instead of saying good morning, they'll say GM. Like, am I not important enough to write the full good morning?
Wow, I think it's respect because you're like the general manager, like the GM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're thinking
It's a respect thing.
Oh,
yeah.
You're good. That's a positive. That's good. That is good. But
Well, I mean, look, it also years ago at LOL. And at
I
first, I didn't know what that was. I'm like, wow, what's this?
and what is it to laugh my?
Yeah.
So LMFAO.
Laughing my F and F ass
Yeah.
off. Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and that's a lot to.
I know. I guess, but they have the dictation now. Like, push the little microphone button and go laugh my.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay, this is a good subject. How can you work toward divide with the anthems? I know. It bothers me, and I guess it's everybody's right to do what they want to do. Sing.
I think the NFL is starting to slowly pull back from that because they remove some stuff from the sidelines and the end. So, you know what? I think over time, people are realizing it doesn't move the needle. It's just pointless. All it does is divide people even more.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go. Examples here: crayon, or crayon.
Crayon.
Yeah, crayon.
Ron, how would you say it? I'm going to guess crayon.
Crayon. Deb's got one here for us. Drawer. How do you say drawer?
Yeah, that's a draw.
You say drawer. How do you say it? Drawer? But you say it like with an A on the end. You don't say it with the ER in the end. Drawer.
Drawer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Draw. Yeah. Put your clothes in a drawer.
Right. So, but I say drawer. Like I'd say more
corner.
Corner. See,
Know.
but I'd say more like drawer, like with the ER. I pronounce the ER.
Yeah, no, drawer. Like,
right.
Ugh,
You're in a hurry. So you're in a hurry. You want to get.
You sound like you're drunk if you speak from Jersey, pretty much. Like you get pulled over. You've been drinking on just from Jersey.
Although you can say like you're so busy, you got so much going on, you don't want to waste
That's
like
true.
the whole.
Yeah, I don't want to waste breath. I'm moving here.
Right.
Yeah.
So instead of drawer, it's drawer.
Instead of did you eat, it's cheat.
Gee.
No, and then
yeah. Okay, so corner.
Yeah,
like
corner. Yeah,
corner.
Well, and also then you start to get separation in like, what do you call a long sandwich?
Wedge.
Sub.
Oh, sub. Okay.
But then you go down to shorts, hoagie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do we got here? Not should do you? Not you? Not you? Not yet? Do you? Not yet? Do you? Not yet? Do you? Not yet? Do you?
Yeah. That one, it must be Buffalo thing.
And you can't have chicken wings that's right. So like chicken wings, speaking of buffalo, you can't have chicken wings with blue. You have to have it with blue cheese, correct? You can't have it with
Yeah.
Right.
The original ones, yeah, for sure.
right. And what's the other alternative? There's blue cheese or
The hot sauce,
right. But you, right.
But speaking of Buffalo, that Anchor Bar, or whatever.
I'm sorry, it's ranch. Ranch is the other option.
Ranch.
Right. So you have to have
like
no
they
ranch.
had the original ones, which they became famous for. They also had teriyaki and Italian flavor wings.
Yeah.
So good.
But you can't. I mean, if you're gonna have chicken wings, you
Yeah,
gotta
go.
have original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mess around with that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mark, you're back on my feed, Mr. Shaw. Oh, go. All right, Mark.
See you, man.
Bye. Yeah. Pet peeve. Pet peeve thumb. Oh, the thumb is your pet peeve. Yeah, I know. People give you the thumbs up and say, I don't know. It's just like, have we
All
lost?
right, how do you feel about the bro hug? We're all hugging each other now.
I know, and I do it too. Like you give the old, like the grab the thumb and then pull the guy in. And I do it. And then after I do it, I go, what was I doing? Like I don't.
Yeah.
But I do it
I
now.
don't know this person.
I know.
Yeah.
How about do you give people knuckles or do you shake hands?
In the winters, knuckles all the time.
You don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's still germs on the knuckle, though, right?
A lot less likely. Yeah.
Less
I
likely.
mean, you don't pick stuff up with the back of your hand.
Right.
You put stuff down with the back of your hand. Though.
That's true. That's true too. Where do you park your car? You park your car at the bar?
Yeah.
But that's more of the Boston.
Boston.
Thing, right? Yeah. Let me see here. I'm not drunk. I'm talking in cursive.
There you go.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like men say the word F, like they use that word. It's a staple in their language.
It's like a pause. It's become like
yeah, F this.
Yeah, F that.
F you, F this. I don't
think of how many different ways you can use it.
Yeah.
It could be good, it could be bad, it could be bad.
Yeah. It's probably the most universally used word in many different, like what other word is used the same way?
That's it. No, that's
right.
it.
I guess the S, like shit is word. Shit is.
Nah. Well, I mean, you could, that could be good or bad. Be, shit. Like, wow, that's good. Or
Yeah.
shit. Could be either one.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Or it's attitude. And you can say, I don't give an F. That's attitude.
And here's something, and I acknowledge this is, I guess, sexist in a little way.
Yeah.
There's something about a woman swearing as opposed to a man, like man saying the same thing as a woman. It just comes across wrong. And that's, again, I'm clearly being.
Depends the context and the situation.
Right. Like, Beth doesn't seem like she's the potty mouth. Does she have that?
No. She doesn't need to.
Okay, occasionally you drop it in.
I just get the look.
Oh, she doesn't even have to use
No.
language. Right. So there's certain looks that like basically saying, she's basically saying F you.
So long time ago already, I figured out that
right.
It's not good to go down that path.
So you can tell, like, there's kind of like if you do something kind of silly in public, she gives you a certain look. But if you do something that's not just silly,
I'll give you a for instance.
Yeah.
So a while back, I was training this man, Yuri Foreman, at a Gleason gym in Brooklyn, like 3 days a week. So I would take the train into New York with Beth in the morning. And I got this big my bag with all my box and stuff in it. And all you hear is, the announcement about watch the gap. The gap. So now it's like 7 a.m. and there's this mass of humanity going on a train. And somehow I missed the gap. One leg on a train, the other leg through the gap. My boxing bag strangling me.
Oh.
And she looked at me and just kept walking.
Oh.
And she didn't even know I was there. And then when I finally extricated myself out, I sit down and she looks at me, she goes, "You're ruining my Zen." And that was it. True story. Yeah.
That's classic. I like that. I was, here's another thing. You get in the subway very often in the city, or you use the subway?
I've not in a while, but I have. Right. Yeah. I mean,
so when you buy the subway card, it's got the little magnetic strip.
Oh, what a pain man.
If you don't use the subway all the time.
Yeah. You look like an idiot.
Right. So I was with this lovely woman she lives in the city, so she uses the subway all the time. So I'm behind her and she slides right through, and I'm standing there
for an hour.
And she looked at me with this look, and I'll never forget the look. It was like, it was more like, are you a complete idiot?
Yeah,
Like it's like you're rooting. Like she didn't have to say anything at all. Like
the
there's
same thing.
oh, there's a whole bunch of things she said to me with just one look. It was like, oh, did I?
It was volumes.
Oh
Yeah.
God! It basically said, "I'm never going to see you again. You're a complete idiot. You're
She went
embarrassing
better
me."
with more like gross motor skill stuff, like smashing things and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
Oh God, I could picture her looking at me right now. It was the most demeaning thing. Like I was gonna crawl in a hole. There's just I looked at her. It's like it's a subway.
Yeah.
And I think it made it worse because the subway was coming. And then I said to her, I says, "Well, there'll be another one in 20 minutes." Like,
Yeah, I mean, so this is again many years ago. My son Sean had the hockey dinner for the high
Right.
school team, and we're going in. We're dressed up. We're walking into the hotel where it was, and you know how that like, a sign like weddings this way, the hockey things that way. Well, I started taking a dig. I couldn't tell you why. I just lost my edge, kind of, and I grabbed her as I'm going down. Now I'm dragging her into my disaster, headed right toward that metal frame sign. Yeah.
oh God.
Yeah.
And whoever decided that like the F word, for example, was a word that we shouldn't use. Like, why is it like such a bad word?
You know, I think it derives from the fact that, do you know where it came from, apparently?
No.
The middle finger.
No.
So the story is that the French, this is true.
It is a true story.
Yeah. So when the British would capture French, they would cut that finger off because that's the finger you pulled your bow back with.
Right.
And when the French weren't conquered, they went like this in defiance. Still have my finger to the
Oh.
British. And
Oh.
apparently that's the story of how that all began.
Are you
You
serious?
think about, yeah, but think about it. What does that mean? Who cares? But
I
that's
don't
why it was a defiance that I still have my bow finger. Yeah.
Okay, so when I was on Survivor, I told this story. First night out there, we're all like, everybody's all excited. You're laying in the bamboo, you can't really sleep. So I created this story about sockeye salmon,
Mhm.
and that it came from this. And we have, obviously in Fiji, you're in the South Pacific Islands and everything. So it started. There was this fisherman and his family living on this island, Desolate Island, and all they could live off was salmon and all the fish they caught and everything. So he somehow along the way he'd had this bad eye, got infected or whatever. So it was constantly a problem with the eye. So one day this sock floated up onto the island, and he looked at the sock. And he says, "Oh, this must be to put my salmon into the sock."
Mhm.
And so one day he puts the salmon in the sock. It's time to eat the salmon. So he pulls the salmon out of the sock, and for some reason rubs his eye with the sock that had the salmon in it. Now,
Mhm.
miraculously, the eye got better, and so now he called this the sockeye salmon. The salmon. So I told this story on Survivor. Now remember, I'm the old guy out there, and I'm
How
telling
many
you.
of them tried to drown you after that?
No, they were. I bet you half of them thought I was serious. Like I thought they knew I was just being a total jerkwad,
Yeah.
and no, they thought I was serious. So, oh, hold on, stop the presses, everybody. Are you ready? Are you
Yeah.
ready for this? Oh my God, here we go. This is unbelievable. Oh my God, oh.
She's good.
You know what it took? It took for me to tell the sockeye salmon story. That's what it must be. She wanted me to tell that story all this time. Oh,
Well, no, she's just shocked that you're on Survivor. Apparently, she's
Yeah.
never heard this before.
she didn't know that before because I don't like to talk about that very much. That I was on Survivor. So.
And
Rod,
she's probably-
I get it.
here's the worst part, not the worst, but the best one.
Yeah.
She's probably sitting on the beach right now, relaxing with
Right.
some kind of adult beverage, laughing at us.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now I know why you don't talk to me. I say that is not. I look forward to speaking to you, Jason, on what you're talking about. Oh, here was a funny thing too. Did you see this where Rob Ray got hit in the head with a puck? Did you see this?
No.
So he's in between the benches,
In
in the
between,
Buffalo game. Puck flew up, hit him in the head, and right at the start of the game, and he goes, "Oh F!" Like, and he yelled it out. He just lost his mind. It was so funny. Like the poor play-by-play guy, you could tell he was trying to. Okay, what do I do now? He's trying to pretend
Exactly.
he didn't hear or so.
Was that yesterday? I guess.
Yeah, it was a Saturday game. I think the Rangers in Buffalo. Yeah.
I was listening to Ron. Tough guy played for Reed. What was his first name? Played
Brian
for
Reeves? Brian Reeves?
No, Reed Lowe. Reed Lowe.
Oh, Reed Lowe.
Talking about when he had to fight Tony Twist in camp. It was pretty funny.
Oh,
I guess he had known some kind of family connection or something or
Oh,
whatever, and he was just a rookie, you know. And I guess Tony got the better of him and just was like, so Reload's face down, and he's just banging him on the back of the helmet, going, "I am the effing sheriff in town," or whatever like that.
Oh, here we go. Here comes the little Tracy Games now. Okay. Hi, boys. Hi, Mark Putnam.
Hi, Tracy.
Yeah. So you see the game here that's going on? I don't even need to.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's no disrespect to you. I'm sure she really thinks you're a fantastic person, but it's like
it's all,
the ignored Tom.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah. Oh well.
Can't blame her.
Yeah, I know. And I've come. I think Tracy's helped me kind of look at my life in the past, and I realize that just has been the pattern in my life,
Right.
that people ignore me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, what do we got here? Michael Elwood. So much for the live TV delay.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Poor guy.
Well, there's certain guys won't name, but I'm sure media, like whoever on the teams there now, do not interview that guy.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
There's one that comes to mind real quick. I mean, the F word for him was not every 10th, not every other word.
Yeah.
I had him on the ice to talk to the little kids one time during a camp, and I'm like, I can't believe it.
Oh, is that
8
right?
years old, man, relax. Yeah.
So that is it. What do you call it when there's the letters stand for something? What's that word?
Oh, an acronym.
Acronym. So the ass is obviously an acronym. Amazing, stupendous, survivor. That's
Right,
what
there it is.
amazing,
Yeah.
stupendous survivor. That's what she means. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Acronym.
First name Jack. Yeah.
So your lovely Beth, she's retiring soon, correct?
Month and a half, something like that.
Month and a half.
Yeah.
Good. What do you guys going to plan? Like a romantic evening alone?
I'm just trying to keep my head above the water here.
You stay out of her way. Yeah. All right, we really never did cover the Rangers weekend, right? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so they go into Buffalo, lose 8-2 was the final.
Yeah.
After the
Our team, to really, I mean, you and I have talked extensively about it. This is just not going to be a lineup that's going to work right now. And what do you do?
Yeah.
Their options are very limited.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. So people are saying, okay, do they change their mind? Like if the team gets on a roll here, do they change their mind? My feeling is no. You look at the team and say, okay, do we think that this team can be successful now and in the future? If we do, maybe make some changes, or do we just say we don't care where the team is now? We need to change this team around because it just isn't going to go. Now that's up to them to decide that. But
I don't in any way, shape, form know what's going on in the room or whatever, but you can guess. And I just think that, and this is not an indictment on Laviolette, but he needs to go because he just needs something to change the whole dynamic. I guess I don't know.
I hear you, and that seems to be a trend in the National Hockey League that these coaches come and go. I mean, Laviolette's won the Stanley Cup. He won the President's Trophy last year, and I wouldn't say you're wrong in saying he needs to be moved, but then go, okay, does that really change the team? I hear you. It changes the message, changes the voice, but the other side, you look at it and say, well, no, because then we're blaming the coach for the way the team is, and we're not really pointing the finger where it should be. If that's And again, you know what? As you know, Mark, without us really being in the locker room, you really don't know what's going on.
You have no idea. Yeah. The guys might be upset if he got canned.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, then you go back to why did you get rid of Gallant? Or maybe he had an issue with him and Drury had a little bit of an issue, but
I don't know what the answer is. I think, and again, when you and I have talked about this a lot, it's got to be really difficult to coach now.
Oh yeah,
because the players are so young.
Yeah,
it's a different world with social media. They're more concerned. I'm not going to indict them. A lot of them are really concerned about what their Instagram after the game. They're checking their Instagram. It's just a different world.
Yeah.
And again, you and I have discussed this a million times. When a player is making $4 million a year, and he's got to X amount of year contract. He's looking at you thinking you're here for 2 years, maybe dude.
Yeah. And he's got a conditioning coach, he's got a dietitian coach, he's got a skills coach,
media guy.
Yeah.
Personal
I mean, that was never, it was one coach. That was it. He told us what to do. That was the way it was. Yeah.
A coach in a bar.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you guys discuss Kako? So upset now he's playing so well. Well, okay. So, well, I'll use an example. I've got to be, I did a podcast with Jeff Chikrin, who used to play for the Philadelphia Flyers. We played against each other a lot. Really good guy, intelligent guy, tough guy when he played. His son now plays for the Washington Capitals.
Right. Yeah.
And so I watched him twice this weekend. And I sent a couple of texts to Jeff, and I said, wow, he is unbelievable, because like he was controlling the game and everything. And it was interesting, his comment. And he wasn't like derogatory, like being criticized in other organizations, but he basically said this organization has allowed him to be what he wants to be. And that's part of what goes on. I mean, I went through it with Herb Brooks, where, you know, my first year I had 6 goals, 23 assists. I'm thinking, geez, I'm going to be like this two-way defenseman. Herb comes in, wants me to be a defensive defenseman. So I had a choice at that point. Do I fight that and then become so? And now this new coach coming in who controls all my ice time and everything. If he doesn't like the way I play, and then I'm, you know, what happens to my career? So I say to myself, okay, well, I'll do what he wants. I'll be that defensive. And maybe that's all I would have become anyways, based on my skill level. But because I did what he wanted to, now I become like he gives me that defensive role. So it really enhances my career being that defensive guy. So that's,
I would say that if you're a defensive defenseman, you're going to last longer in the NHL.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about your hands going, right? Your hands are already gone. Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that your focus is more, you know, and this is something I always told fighters. Listen, guys, you guys are all pros. You're all the world's best in your sport. So now it comes down to what you want to do with your mindset and what you want to do with your conditioning and all that kind of stuff. Because if you play in the NHL, you could have been an offensive. I mean, not to say everybody's Bobby Orr, but yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
You have the skill set.
And just go the Capo thing too is, and I like, remember, it's a business, right? There's a lot of money. The coaches are making a lot of money. GMs make a lot of money. Players make a lot of money. So I believe Kaapo was not drafted by Drury, correct? That was the previous regime that drafted him. So what happens naturally is there's really not as much of an attachment. Like if you draft the player, you're saying, okay, I have put my reputation on the line with a second overall pick in the draft that this guy has got a big future. Now, the new GM coming in doesn't have that same attachment. He didn't make that decision. So he's not going to, it's not that he's not going to fight for him, but he's not going to be the guy that's high on his list that he's going to fight for. He can easily say, as they did, I'm going to move on from him. It isn't working out. And then it takes, obviously, Seattle now have made the decision that, listen, we believe this guy can be a player. So when they trade for him, that GM and that coach are now on the hook to say, okay, we made the move to get him. So we're going to do everything we can to help him be the best player possible. And again, not that the Rangers were fighting him being the best player possible, but there's so much going on.
I think also maybe our perception, because we're so Ranger-centric focused.
Yep.
Because if you can make the argument, Anthony Duclair, they gave up too early on that guy.
Yep.
I think that might be true of a lot of teams. So,
oh yeah,
I don't think it's unique.
Yeah.
It's just that we're more aware of it because we're dialed into
it's so easy to look at the negative parts of a guy's game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Chris Kreider is a great example where there's some people that just think he's fantastic. Numbers should be retired. Others are like, God, like some games he shows up, some games he doesn't. So if you want to be the negative person, you look and say, well, geez, he doesn't show up all the time. He doesn't hit as much.
I mean, it's why that you see a lot of coaching movement. You see a lot of general manager movement because it's not a very exact science. You're dealing with human beings, different personalities, and other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And this is something we were talking about last night. Like when I was a little kid, I'm sure you were the same way. When you looked at so you were a Leaf fan, I'm going to assume, and you looked at like Horton or some of the players, David Keon, you didn't think when you were a little kid that they actually have a family and they have a life other than So when you're little, that's the way you look at it. And then when you get older, you understand that there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. the whole getting traded and everything. Like,
Yeah.
It's funny because you watch other people get traded. They go, get traded. Well, then when you're actually getting traded, well, now your family, in my case, has to go from New York to Los Angeles and all that stuff. So,
well, the thing too is like for you, like with Herbie, at least he talked to you about what he expects or thinks. Randy Belichick was telling me a long time ago that when he was in Quebec, Pierre Paget, is that the guy? The coach?
Yeah.
Came in and
big buggy eyed guy, yeah.
And he said he made Randy a number 7 when he had been like a 5 or something. Right. And I go, well, what happened? He goes, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't like the way I part my hair. I have no idea.
And it might be that not that he didn't like him. Maybe he's using it as an example for somebody else. Who knows?
Right. So there's a communication difference between a guy like Herb's going to tell you, listen, this is what we're looking for, where another guy's just going to, do something not right.
Herb wasn't exactly smooth with it, like he said. He laid low when you get the puck and give it to somebody else. So at least I knew what the expectation.
Well, that's like we talking about Tommy McVie. When he yelled at our friend there, you're trying to play the violin. You're a drummer. Just move the puck up, right?
Yeah. Is it the expectations and pressure? You know what? And that's a great question, man. So I'm not trying to avoid it, but there's so many different things with different players and different teams. Young players like that.
Factor.
Yeah. So you remember, so the Rangers now, so they draft him when he's 18 years old, Kako. So now they know him as this young kid. Now, from the time he's 18 to 22, 23 years old, those are huge years of maturing physically and mentally. Right. So, but they still have this picture of this young kid. Now he goes to a new team. They don't know him when he was a young kid. All they know is now this more mature guy, not totally mature, but more mature guy at 23 or 24 years old. So it's a whole different thing. So this whole, and it's tough. Remember, these guys, their jobs are on the line too, these GMs and scouts and everything. Yeah. So it's, ideally, if you could run a perfect organization, you'd have an owner that would say, listen, you guys are going to be here. Coach, GM, scouts, you're not going anywhere. So don't worry about making mistakes. Because in that scouting world, you don't even call them mistakes. It just doesn't always work out with a player. So
I also think sometimes players, like especially first overall guys or first round guys, I should say, for whatever reason, doesn't work, but they find another part of their game maybe really good on the draw that they're able to like still hang around for 10 or 11 years.
Sure. Yeah.
They didn't become who we thought they were going to be. And then there's guys that are just out, like remember Pat Falloon, just outright. Were you in San Jose then when you drafted him?
Yeah.
He was Fat Balloon, they call him.
I know. Yeah.
But
you look at Lafreniere right now, and you're going,
yeah, I know.
That's a GM killer, that kind of contract right there.
Yeah.
Both the player in general, like a first overall pick of the draft, seem to be coming along. Now, again, he could just be having an off season, but now he signs a contract and think like it just seems like
time's not good.
Yeah, like the effort is the issue. Like when he's the couple of times where they've clearly missed like back checking where he's not working hard enough. Right. And you'd like to think that that's a young player that just needs like somebody to say to him, listen, you get the chance of being a great player with his skill level. So
that's again, it's almost to the point, Tom, where if you really think about it, you need a coach for every single player. Like just somebody to be their personal kind of.
Well, it to your point, I mean, like now even more so, it's more like a psychological coach too, like that mental health coach. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And then like I'll call the guy out, but I texted you yesterday. The guy's he's on a strong post. He's got a stick up in the air like this.
I know.
Like, that's just like fundamental stuff. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah. Like you do wonder. So like K'Andre Miller gets picked on a lot. You do wonder how do they handle him? Like do they point out the mistakes to say, listen, you've got tremendous skills. You're a big man. You can skate. Yeah. But here's the thing: is like we need you to be more physical here. We need you to block that shot. Like you can pick on him, like the one shot that bounced off him yesterday. You can pick on him and say, well, listen, we want you to block that instead of trying to get out of the way. Easy to say that after the fact, the puck's gone in the net. But or is he the kind of guy that you can't point out too many of his mistakes because you're worried you're going to ruin him?
I think that might be it. And also, it's a team thing. If you see everybody else blocking shots and you don't, that kind of self-corrects.
Yeah, like that play where he deflect him off me. Again, it's easy now. It's after the fact. Right. If I'm watching that, I'm going, I'm not getting out of the way. I'm getting in the way. I want to block it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, If he got out of the way, it missed him and goes wide, then nobody even remembers the play because it goes wide. But that's not what happens.
I didn't see the play. Did he do a flamingo or just turn?
No, it was a shot that was high. It was like waist high. So it was coming at him. It was going to go wide. It was good. And he was in a position where he was trying to get out of the way. Instead, it just nicks him, goes in. Shesterkin thinks it's going wide. Now it goes
redirect. Yeah.
Redirects it on that. Yeah. So again, it's really easy to say now, you should have blocked the shot. But I think that's the problem, is that he's now getting the reputation that he doesn't hit enough, doesn't block shots enough. Mm-hmm. So whenever that stuff happens, it's easy to pick on him.
It magnifies it.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, what do you got to say here? I love Kakko, but I'm tired of the Rangers being blamed. Yep, good point. Yeah,
that's pretty much what we were saying.
Yeah, yeah. That, I mean, you know what's it's great. Like, you look at the great athletes, great politicians, great business people, whatever it is.
Rebound.
Things are going to go bad for them. Yeah. They have to decide, okay, I'm going to fight through this. It can't always be somebody else coming to the rescue for them. So Susan's point, the Wonder Woman is totally on point here. So,
but there's been so many players throughout history that were doing well and they get moved, and they just, for whatever reason, they flourish.
Yeah. It's a matter of just time where they've just matured more, that, like, again, people forget, these kids come in at 18, 19, 20 years old. Man, I couldn't even tell you what time of day it was when I was that age. Yeah. Let me see here. What do we got here? She's playing in New York in an Eastern Conference Finals. Should have been firing up. Yeah. But that kind of tells you something where there are some players where there's some people, and again, it's not just people look like to make excuses, like it's somebody else's fault. Like, I'm not playing well enough because somebody else is interested in that. Hold on here. Hold on. Another name. Like, as soon as Tracy shows up, Dougie DeVito shows up. Oh, man. Yeah. And then right off the bat. So he says, "Hi, my friend." And then, so now right to Tracy, right to Tracy. Tracy, right to Tracy. Like, no, Tom. Hold on here. See, here we go. This is the game that goes on. I said, I've lived this game my whole life. Doug DeVito, high love. Right. Nothing. It's called the bypass Tom game, is what it's called.
He's playing you like
the fiddle. Yeah. Where does Zach Jones go now?
That's a good question.
There's another case, and I don't know the man, young man, but when you're given an opportunity, it's easy to say, well, he's made complaints publicly that they're not giving him a chance, whatever. Well, if you want to make it, you got to do something that forces them to keep you in, like you got to play so well that they've got no choice but to play it, right? And it's not that he's played bad; he just hasn't done anything to really stand out.
I think he's a tweener.
Yep. Let me see here. Doug Vito. What we got here? We got an amazing Deb. The band is back together. Yeah, Tracy's back. Exactly. So again, it was our show. Now it's become Tracy's show, right?
Yeah.
What everybody's basically saying. Stop the madness, you baby. So she's not calling me baby. She's calling me a baby.
A baby. Yeah,
right?
baby. It's a big
one. She's not saying like, hi, baby.
Yeah.
No, like, you're. What we got here? Here we go. So now Tracy and Deb are teaming up. Tracy and Doug. I don't know where Barry Shelley's here now, because usually Barry, what he does, he
knows enough to stay out of the fray.
But there's some cases though where he's hung in there, stirred the pot pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, he's smart. He picks his spots.
Oh, I know. He gets that big spoon going. Yeah. Danny Erickson. Add to the fact that in some cases young players adjusting to a foot. Yep. There's a lot of things. Yeah.
And also, he was the bubble year, wasn't he? Or was that Laffy?
He was
with COVID. So he the COVID year.
Yeah.
Playing a bubble. Man, there's a lot of weird stuff that's going on.
Okay. It's just, I think we've lost control. It's fair to say. If I come on, you may get more than 9 people on it. So I do need to point out then. So basically, Tracy's making fun of everybody else.
Yeah,
that's on the show. It's
okay. Yeah, no, but she's probably right.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Let me see what Wonder Woman has to say here. Zach may be the placement for Lindgren. Yeah, like the one. Okay, so the one Buffalo goal, the big kid later in the game comes out of the corner and he battled remember what was the kid's name?
Was it Tage Thompson or whatever?
Yeah. So he battled Fox. No, battled Lindgren first.
Yeah.
And in fairness to both those guys, Fox and Lindgren, they're about like a foot shorter than this guy too, probably like 50 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Like at one point there, Fox was like hanging on his back trying to pull him down. He couldn't do it. So
yeah, the Ranger blue line is kind of small. It's not a big blue line.
Yeah. And again, that's a good point. If you look at the teams that win,
Mhm.
I mean, you got to have some big bodies back there. You know,
Hedman.
obviously you've got to be able to skate and everything, but
like a guy like Hedman or okay.
Like you watched Gino Malkin yesterday, and he even with Rempe the one time, Rempe went to nail him, and Malkin just bounced right off him.
Shoulder. Yeah.
Malkin really played hard yesterday too.
He did, and he's got what's he like 60 now? How old is he?
He's getting up there, 30 something, late 30s. Yeah. That's going to be interesting what happens there in Pittsburgh. Like you feel bad for Crosby to watch him. He's such a pro. And again, I know Ranger fans hate him, but it's just that team, like he was really good. They scored the one goal on him. I think Fox's goal. Mm-hmm. The goal he probably should have had. It was a tough shot, but should have had it. And then Crosby, they showed it. Went right back to the kid, tapped him on the pads. Like instead of being pissed at the kid or whatever, he understands he's a young kid. He's trying his best. So, yeah. But that's going to be interesting to Crosby. I think so. He just signed a new contract. I think he's got like 3 or 4 years left on his deal.
Now, how old is he? Like 37ish?
Yeah, something like that. So what does he do? Like, does he say, "Okay, I'll hang in here"? Because it's not going to get better really, like right away there in Pittsburgh.
I don't know if he's of the mindset he wants to go win a cup somewhere.
Yeah.
Or if he's just going to say, you know what, I'm going to be like Mario. I'm just going to play here.
Yeah.
And at the end, I'm going to be working with Mario or whoever. You know, like
because he'll. I mean, obviously, if he wants to work with and again, he signed. What he does is he signs those contracts for $8,700,000, so 87.
Yeah, that's cool.
So he's really, you're right. To your point, he's really putting a lot of thought into the fact that this is who I am. I'm number 87 for the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's what I want to be. I don't want to go anyplace else.
Like a Ray Bourque was different. He didn't win a cup in Boston. So when he had a chance to win one in Colorado, he took it.
And he could have left there. I tell you, he was really criticized hard by the Players Association because he always they called him the walking salary cap. Now, that was rude. They were talking about behind his back. That was the old Bob Goodnow, and it wasn't necessarily Bob. It was other people.
Well, why did they?
Well, he always took less than probably what he could have gotten.
Ray Bourque.
Right, Ray Bourque did.
To stay in Boston.
Yeah, stay in Boston. And he felt like, and the Bruins, that's when Mr. Jacobs, the owner, was more actively involved.
Right.
And I think he tried to convince him that, okay, if you take less, then we can get a better team around you to win. And I think, And so then what they did was, okay, everybody that's negotiating, Cam Neely, whoever, would say, okay, well, Ray Bourque's getting this. You're not getting more than Ray Bourque. So everybody had to slot it underneath him. So it cost other guys money. That's the theory. Well, it's not just theory. It's a fact. But
so how's that his fault? That's the ownership's fault.
Right. Well, they're happy. They're happy because they're saving money. They were notorious when Mr. Jacobs was really involved of being like the worst ownership out there as far as the treatment of the players.
Right. But what I'm thinking is like, so he was believing them, saying we're going to get better players to surround you. So he could have been making more money somewhere else. But so I don't know why that's his fault. I mean, he's trying to win a cup.
Well, right, exactly. But the Players Association is always looking at. They don't care about the cup. They care about the cups, but they care about driving up salary.
Yeah.
So he was holding, and now then it affected other people around the league because, like the Cam Neelys and everybody underneath, including Ray Bourque, are now making less.
Right, I got you. So if you go to arbitration, especially, right?
Yes, arbitration really hurt, and free agents too. You know, because
free agency,
But free agents is somewhat different because it's nice to use comparables. But at the end of the day, if you want the player, you have to pay to get them.
Correct.
You know, there's a bidding war for. So, yeah. Let me see. Condrey is on a leash and long leash.
Long leash. I meant to say.
Long leash and Zach Jones is on a short leash. Yes, it appears they're. And listen, if it makes it look like Keandre Miller is getting more chances, he is, and I would as well. First of all, I want to see him become as successful as possible because it's rare to find a guy that's that big, that's that skilled. So you're hoping that his game really comes along. Now, if it doesn't come along, if you don't play him at all, you've reduced the value of the asset, right? And now if he doesn't come along and you've played him, at least new teams are going to, like a new team that wants to trade for him is going to say, seen him play a lot, thinks, well, geez, there's a potential there. And now you get some.
Well, I think also there's been a lot of speculation about moving Lingard. You got to play him.
Yeah. Oh, here's a sad story. Alex Treutwig passed away. Wow.
Really? Oh, what?
I
Today,
know
I guess, right?
he'd been ill for a while. For a couple,
Yeah,
I
he's a
believe
pretty
it
heavy
was
smoker.
cancer. Yeah. He left. Like, he was working in. I think just all of a sudden, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
more, he had to leave. That's sad.
Yeah, it's
And the-
terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. The other one is that Mike Lang in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
So,
Pittsburgh.
that's him.
Yeah.
So people who don't know him, he did the color commentate. No, he did the play-by-play for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he was famous for like scratch my back with a hacksaw, all these kind of sayings and everything. I got to tell you, he was one of those guys that when you come to play in the NHL, when he said your name and you saw it or you heard it, I should say,
It was cool.
it's like, oh, this is cool. Like it really showed you're in the NHL. When it's the same thing. I don't know if you ever remember the old guy. I think he just passed away, I believe, as well. They did at Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, the guy that did the in-arena announcements for penalties and everything had this voice that was legendary. And same thing. So just being from there and watching so many games from that.
It's like
When I was when I was in there at Maple Leaf Gardens, and I remember getting a big fight, so he announced my name. Like when you're hearing your name and this guy is saying, like,
sure, yeah. That's like Bob Shepard with the Yankees, right?
Yeah. And that's right. They're saying, so who's the broadcaster from Milwaukee that passed away that was famous?
Just recently?
Yeah, the guy, former player. He was in all the movies. Milwaukee Brewers.
Oh, Bob
Uecker. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
So this will be the first year in like 40 years or something. They're saying that we know Bob Uecker.
Yeah, it sucks. He was awesome.
Yeah.
He said, my father bought me a football and how'd you end up being a baseball player? So my dad got me a football and, we threw it around the yard. We were just awful. Couldn't kick it, couldn't throw it. And, then the neighbor came over and filled it up with air. It was a little better than that.
All right, we lost Mark. It's 12 o'clock. He's got his client that he works with. So everybody, this is a major day. And I think it's one of these things that we can see, like, now Susan's got her nickname Wonder Woman. Excuse me. Barry Shelley's health is getting better. Tracy's back on the show. And then you get Danny Erickson now. I think what it is, Danny's in that category too. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. So Danny's in that category where he sits and watches and sees if Tracy's on the show. If she's not, excuse me, then he doesn't participate. If she is on the show, then he jumps in. So again, it's an emotional day for me. Clearly, I'm getting all choked up here. So everybody, I'll be all right. Don't worry about me. Everybody have a fantastic week. Hopefully I'll be fine by next week. And Danny will be here, Tracy, and everybody. So have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll see you next week.